to the whitest house. Slave souls haunt the halls when the light is out. Except the blood of the poor and the with their mouth. The last gas of a world that is dying out. Welcome to the whitest house, where every room is a tomb that they lie about. Where you can put your filthy feet on the finest couch, and for the right amount, you can even buy it out.
That's the essence of your entire political identity. You might be a white supremacist.
Welcome again. We are back to This Week in White Supremacy. We are fully staffed. We are fully here. You know, it was kind of difficult for us to maintain without Miracle last week. We somehow made it through.
We did.
She has rejoined us. She flew in today just for the show.
She took a helicopter, actually.
She
landed on top of the building. She rappelled down with a Navy SEAL.
Yeah, that's that Wonder Twin, that Wonder Twin power to join forces with the twin. I'm just Siri X. I'm co-founder and CEO of One Hood Media. I'm joined to my left, right, whichever way you see him.
Treble never liked supremacy. Lead teaching artist here at One Hood Media, all around creator and the guru. You know what I'm saying?
You are one of those people too, Treble, that like in your pictures you look like mean, but are like a super nice person, to meet in person. You know what I'm saying? So don't let the pictures fool you.
Yeah, that's just that's just part of the protection. It's just to make sure people don't fuck with me.
Absolutely. Don't fuck with Treble. Now you're in your pictures mean and mean in real life. You're pretty much.
I'll take it.
The twins, you all are back. You all have something, a rap? You have something for us today?
No, but I want to ask you a question. What religion were they practicing? We about to find out today.
That's a great question. That's a great question. Right.
What religion they practicing today, man?
The religion of white supremacy, my brother. So yeah, we might as well. I mean, sometimes it's funny because usually we save our Karen of the week for the end. Well, first of all,
she's checking all.
First we want to do. We're for those that don't know, we're based in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So first, we definitely want to acknowledge the Tree of Life. This is the 3rd anniversary of the massacre of the Tree of Life. This was the largest massacre of Jewish people in the history of the United States. So we definitely want to, send our condolences, our support, out to the Jewish community to, remember these folks in a manner in which they should be remembered and valued. And so we did want to start by saying that. Do you all have any comments like 3 years later? Interesting enough, the guy who did the Tree of Life massacre, Robert Bowers, has still not gone to trial, which I don't know if that is normal. It seems not normal to me. Is that normal, Miracle? I mean, in a federal case like this, for it to take so long for the trial to even begin?
It's not necessarily normal because it's been over 2 years, and usually a speedy trial begins within 6 months. And there's a lot of evidence. There's a lot of different state actors, but also because it's federal, there was a new U.S. Attorney General that had to be appointed. Right. All different things that caused delays. While it does seem like it's a long time because there's extenuating circumstances, there's reasons why this has been prolonged, but at least there should be some type of hearings on the docket about, whether he's getting released, whether he has a bond, whether what's being stipulated at trial, what is being argued at trial, what can and cannot be said during the course of the trial. There should be some pre-trial agreements that have been going on. So we'll just have to wait and see. But it is very weird not to get updates, not to have any information, and not to have anyone basically say where they are in the case.
Well, I know that there is. I saw an article recently that talked about kind of all of that stuff happening, but it is, but this ain't about him. This is about the victims. And we want to, in the community that's mourning those victims. So we want to stand with them. Did you, Treble or Farouk, have anything you wanted to say in regards to it?
It's crazy. It's not really as crazy when you think about it, but 3 years later, and Pittsburgh is still not stronger than hate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I agree with that. You could, even say, man, the hate kind of have ratcheted up what I think it's importance of, communities that suffer from that hate to be an allyship at this time. Farouk, did you have anything?
Yeah, it was super unfortunate. I remember when it came on the news, like a whole bunch of my friends were phoning me from like out of town and everything. Um, the insensitivity around it that was led by the then president at the time, Donald Trump, was disgusting. And just the way that he disrespected entire religion and faith of people um, in the states right afterwards. It was wild, man. Super unfortunate, man. Prayers
Yeah.
up, thoughts and prayers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then, that was one of the things that, when we went out there, we kind of stood, we stood beside members of the Jewish community that were saying like, they didn't want Donald Trump to come because a lot of folks believed that it was his rhetoric
Right.
that kind of inspired this, the guy, the killer picked that synagogue because of the work that they were doing with the immigrant community.
Mhm.
And so, we stood next to, Jewish organizers as well, as Muslim folks, and just in a unified stance. And so, so we did want to start with that because that was something that, to live in Pittsburgh and to have it happen, like you said, and to kind of see some of the things that have taken place since then. I think it's been fortunate that we've, been communicating more with our Jewish folks and looking at what does allyship look like for us. And I think that's one of the things that's come out of it that hopefully, and it's like really for Pittsburgh to be stronger than hate, everybody needs to be included at the table, at the conversation. That's something that, hasn't been happening, but we're hoping as the city moves forward, with an historic election on Tuesday, that is something that can happen as we go forward. But it can't happen if, we have folks just outright mocking folks, culture, religion, ethnicity, nationality, however you say it. And that's kind of what we saw with our, Karen of the week. I mean, by now, if you were on some type of media, internet, social media, you probably watched this video or have seen this video of the and why a math teacher would dress like a Native American person and do such an elaborate. I guess we can just put a little bit of the video.
Yeah.
I guess if you want to show the video, I can't imagine. I just, as a Native, like the Native American person that filmed it, I just want to say first before as we pull up the video, like respect to them because like to not like go off in the moment. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like I could see maybe after 5 seconds of this, if you're thinking like, all right, this is going to happen only for 10 seconds. This went on for a while.
Yeah.
And like the restraint that individual showed in the midst of that, and just good looking, showing that restraint, recording it, letting the world see a lot of the foolishness that folks have to deal with. And so this is a math teacher in California. I think her name is Candace Reed, that decided to use her class to, mock, indigenous folks. Oh, go ahead.
Embarrassing. Is that what they teach y'all? Maybe your teacher certificate?
I mean,
No, absolutely not.
this is some LA Unified shit.
No, this is this was the John W. North High School. Her name's Candace Reed in California. So after this video went viral, she was placed on administrative leave. And what do y'all comments?
That was hard to watch, bro. Like that looked like an episode of fucking Parks and Rec or like The Office or something.
Parks and Rec.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No, 100%. Right. Where you're supposed it's supposed to be awkward, right? It's supposed to be like people getting in these awkward situations and you laugh at it. But this was real life.
Yeah, and that's what made it so hard to watch because it's like this is awkward as shit. Like what are you doing? Like, I can't look at this and see like what she is doing. I can't tell if she's serious. I can't tell if like she's, you know, not really all the way there. Like, I don't know.
I mean, I learned the same acronym in my math class about sine, cosine, and tangent, SOHCAHTOA, whatever. But my teacher was like, here is how you remember it, and just wrote it on the board. So maybe my teacher didn't care, or this teacher just cares too much.
I was saying, what the fuck does this got to do with math?
That's what it is, because that's how you just remember how you break down the sine and cosine.
See, I wasn't in advanced math like that.
I mean, you know, I was only school of excellence, so
you know, I failed the same math class 3 times.
You know, it's okay. But like, I know that like all creativity and stuff for teachers, but does the principal not walk down the hallway? Is there no other math class like next door hearing this woman yell and scream?
Miracle, she has a history of doing this.
OMG, what?
Could you believe that this wasn't the first time that these antics show themselves in her classroom?
I'm shooketh.
You are shooketh.
I am. Say what? Tell me more.
So she has done this for years and years, and there's been photos of it, of her in these headdresses and all this wildness, all this disrespect she's been doing. And just now, through the sanctity of technology and everything like that, we had someone out her for this shit.
Yeah, somebody pulled a yearbook page just in this article we just posted. Somebody pulled their yearbook out, and she was in there in the Native American headdress in 2012, talking about how she uses this demonstration to help students remember math. That, in her opinion, it helps them remember it better, and it's a memory device. But just like you said, I mean, you can't find one that doesn't, you know,
it's not racially insensitive, like
doesn't demean somebody else's culture and their experience and their life. So it was a Native American student, a parent that I guess recorded it and said that they felt like violence was being done to them.
Of course.
And then you can even see, it's not like, I mean, the students didn't even seem like they were like engaged in it. I mean, at least for my perspective, you know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't even seem like they were like all joining in on her. It seemed like she was just doing this. She was having fun. Like she was looking forward to this day, like every year, what she's going to wear, her headdress, and she got busy. Yeah, they Woogie was right. Like they made,
I could see her playing music,
they
putting
made her
on war paint like that day.
She lives with
like all type of stuff. Like, but why?
Does it seem like to you that like the students nowadays are more with the shits than they were when we were younger? Like they're quicker to speak out against teachers, saying insensitive shit.
Yeah, but they also have no other options, because what people forget is like when your teacher does something stupid and bigoted, it then empowers your bigoted classmates to be more of buttholes than they already are, because they're like, oh, I wasn't saying anything offensive. I was just doing what teacher so-and-so was doing. Yeah. And that's like the problem. Like these kids are going through so much. The last thing they need is a woman literally hooping and hollering and jumping on furniture with her outside clothes.
Yeah, she did her Rick James shit. She was, fuck this couch, nigga.
I was like, oh my gosh, she jumping up on like, aren't school districts in, need of cash? Yeah, and here this woman is jumping on their property. Like, I was offended.
Yeah, and the wild part was, it's like she wasn't the only other math student or math teacher that got called out for being offensive to a student of a different ethnicity, right? There was a math teacher. Why are you laughing, Farouk? You of all people, Farouk,
it is
should
not
be laughing at this, okay?
But yet here we are.
Racism be funny sometimes.
So in New Jersey, it said a student, a Muslim student, alleged that the Muslim student asked the teacher.
He asked the teacher for more time on a test.
More time in the assignment, like they're doing a timed assignment. He asked for more time, and according to this Muslim student, the teacher said to him, "We don't negotiate." Oh, we don't want to say it, Farouk?
We don't negotiate with terrorists.
It's not funny.
So, and just like you said, like just imagine, because a lot of times, like, I'm sure, this math class in California, it wasn't like full with, Native American people. Like a lot of times when you show up in these schools, you're the only person. So he probably was one of the only Muslim people in the classroom.
Yeah.
And now here's the teacher saying to you, we don't negotiate with terrorists. And it's like, now you become like, because a lot of times you're probably already sensitive about being the only Muslim student, how people look at you was just the 20th anniversary of 9/11 and people looking at you and saying funny things. And then now here comes a teacher like joking, we don't negotiate with terrorists.
Bro, I swear, if I was in that class, bro, I would have hit him with the, what you mean by that? What you mean?
Fade, not shoot up the school.
Say it again?
Yeah, we gotta shoot the fade, bro. I'll laugh. I'll be like, yo, this is funny, but I'm gonna see you after school. Like, like that shit was funny, but I'm gonna holler at you, bro.
Bidet. You have done the bidet woogie.
Yeah, I mean,
the binder.
But just like you said, right? So like according to the student, he said the teacher came over a few minutes later, patted him on the back, and said like he didn't mean it like that.
He's trying to keep his job and trying to stay out of the news. Too late, nigga. Man, that's just wild. Like, I've said wild things as an educator to my students. I've said some wild shit. I ain't never said nothing that wild.
Yeah, I mean, just like you said, you can maybe but like even if you joke with the students, like you're not trying to joke with them in a way that would like mock them. That demean them or mock them. You might say a little joke, but like you're not, if a student is sensitive about the like their hair or something, like, you're not going to joke on it like that. You know what I'm saying? So now this is the question. I hope they were fired. Both of them were like put on leave. Like, what should happen? Should both these teachers just be immediately fired and like you don't work with students again? What should be the recourse?
The unfortunate part about this is just like police officers. The teachers union has made it so you just can't fire these teachers.
Right.
Right. It's almost impossible to fire a teacher for anything other than like physical abuse. Right. Yeah. It's virtually impossible. So, they can be let go from the district, but they'll be placed into a, like a private school. So like, they'll end up on their feet. That's the thing. But I 100% believe that the recompense needs to be firing. Like at the very, like there shouldn't even be a paid administrative leave. I know that the union has to come out and everything like that, but fuck that. You know what I mean? Like, where's the personal accountability?
Yeah. It's like you crossed the line. And it's like once you cross that line, you got to deal with the consequences. You were going to say something, Miracle?
I mean, I know we keep talking about our racist rehab, but we really have to get it together. But also, we need unions. We need strong unions. We need strong unions so people, can have good jobs and longevity. But at the same time, there has to be an understanding that these teachers are going to make mistakes, that these teachers have their own biases and anti-Blackness that they're dealing with. And there has to be some type of plan put in place for when it happens. These students aren't even getting the luxury of having a forum where they can talk about and to discuss, what's going on with current events. They're being told not to talk about the bigotries and biases that impact their daily lives. And so we're doing a strong disservice. And then we're going to be shocked each time these teachers do something foolish, when in reality, these are what we have as teachable moments. And these teachers should be made out accountable to explain their actions to their students, to go in those classrooms every day and make sure their students are better than they were before.
There was something I wanted to build off of what Miracle just said. There's a high school here in Pittsburgh, PA, where students got wind that the teachers did not have to take diversity and inclusion training or anti-racism training. The students wanted a list of those teachers to be made available in public knowledge to the student body so they can opt out of their classrooms. And this is information that needs to be made available to students. They deserve to know where their teachers stand. If they opt out of anti-racism training and you have majority percent Black percent student body or Black or brown or global majority population, you deserve to know what your teachers feel about you so you can opt out of the classes.
No, that's a great point. Miracle?
Yeah, and the thing is, we as humans, we're all like flawed, right? We all have our biases. We all have things that we haven't encountered and been made aware of. So we're all going to make mistakes. The problem is we somehow have created a situation in schools where we're just the one place where you're supposed to be able to learn and engage. We've shut the door and prevented people from actually learning and engaging with each other. Like, where else are you going to be able to have conversations in a place where you're mandated to be, 5 days out of the week?
Right.
No, I think, that's such a good, powerful point. And just like you were saying, Farouk, there was a principal here that was heard using the N-word, and this was, and they said this wasn't even the first time that this principal had said it. So, like you said, like I agree with you, Miracle. I'm for strong unions. I'm for workers' rights and workers being protected. But at the same time, how can then once you as a principal, like a head of a school, call that's a majority black school,
right? And
you're heard calling students the N-word. At that point, I gotta opt out. And then when I opt out, you should be paying for it. Like, you should be paying for these students to opt out and go someplace else. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And that's like those students' rights. And that's one of the things, we talked about it. We did a documentary called Student Voices. If you go to studentvoicespa.com right now, you can watch it.
studentvoicespa.com.
Trouble, you have anything else besides the fade?
I like I like what Mia was saying in the comments. That's mental abuse, and that how this will stick with them forever. Because it's like when you're like joking with students in a manner that mocks their identity, it's like 100%. You don't know what belief they're walking away from that conversation with. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like anybody who's irresponsible enough to make a mockery of a student's identity or cultural background should not be working around children at all. 100%. You know what I'm saying? Because when you're in a space with children, you have such a heightened responsibility to make sure you're not spewing your personal beliefs on their education.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You should be, but unfortunately, like you said, and like Miracle said, particularly as this country becomes more divisive, you have more students saying, I think you were talking about last week, Farouk, some teacher just said, oh, I voted for Trump. And it's like, why are you, what was that? Like, how's that fodder for a classroom? Like, you're here, again, like you're here to teach math. Like, teach me about trigonometry, write something on the board. Like, if you want to find something that like rhymes and you want to do that, but to do something like you did, like that Native American student, that just like you said, they're going to remember that for their whole life. Mm-hmm. This Muslim student, he was really hurt by this comment. You know what I'm saying? He was really, really hurt by this. And like you said, that's something that will cause you not even to want, and you see a lot of black and brown children specifically opting out of education, not even want to be in the process. But it's like when you show up, and the minute I show up, you already have a preconceived notion about me. You don't care about me. You don't love me enough to even try to teach me or work with me. And then when I agree to sign up for your education system, then I get mocked. You know what I'm saying? And you wonder why people don't want to become teachers and people don't want to participate in the education process.
It's really similar to that young girl that got arrested in Hawaii for drawing a picture of a bully. Like, you're taking away the safety of the classroom and you're taking away the safety of the education process.
Absolutely.
And this trauma turns into baggage later on in life, because now you're associating all education, specifically with Native American people who have there's a sinister relationship between the American education system and First Nations people.
100%.
You're coming
and
in
just like
Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. I was going to say, this 10-year-old girl, she was arrested by police in front of her class. Like, I can't even send her back to that school.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because just to go back to that school in the classroom where you were arrested in front of the other students.
Right.
I mean, just like you said, this is terrorism on these children.
Absolutely.
Point blank, period. You know what I'm saying? And they should be treated as such.
Absolutely.
Speaking of terrorism and I guess children, one of the things that kind of, I mean, a terrorist, although, I mean, well, one of the things that came out was the trial of Cal Rittenhouse. For those that don't remember Cal Rittenhouse, he was the Miracle's face. He was the 17-year-old that his mother drove across state lines with a machine gun, so he could show up to defend properties in Kenosha, Wisconsin. This was
weren't even in his state.
Shooting. wasn't even his state, wasn't even his community, but he wanted to defend whatever in Kenosha, Wisconsin. He ended up taking his gun and shooting 3 people, 2 died. And he's on trial. So one of the things that came out was supposedly it was said that the prosecutors will not be able to refer to the people that Cal Rittenhouse as victims.
Can't call the victims victims.
He cannot call the people but the defense attorneys are able to call them looters,
rioters,
or arsonists, or rioters. So
yeah.
I just want to come to you, Miracle, because I have never, just you're our attorney on staff, I have never heard anything like, is this a precedent-setting thing? Or does this type of shit be going on and we just don't be paying attention and we don't know about it?
So it is a precedent-setting thing that happens. I will say that what's called these pre-trial conferences is kind of what I was alluding to earlier about these conversations that happen that basically dictate what can and cannot be said at trial. A lot of defense attorneys do advocate not to use the word victims because it basically gives the presumption that the person is guilty and committed a crime. A lot of times there's not video evidence. So you're trying to say, I didn't hurt this person is not my victim. So that's why victim is a loaded term. The issue is calling the people looters, rioters, arsonists, because one, to my knowledge and the knowledge that's been put out there, these individuals were not actually engaged in those actions. 2, those individuals had not been accused of those actions or convicted of those actions. And 3, it sets the precedent that there is no longer a rebuttable presumption of violence that Kyle was responding to. It's basically the court saying that these things are happening and therefore setting the stage for Kyle Rittenhouse to say, in defense of myself or in defense of others, I shot these people. The issue really is going to be whether or not, and this whole thing has been a grift and a half, whether or not the state is going to put on evidence to talk about how he was underage, whether or not the police themselves did give permission for all of these white supremacist organizations to essentially use vigilante justice, and whether or not there was actually any type of threat that Kyle was responding to when he shot these individuals. So a whole lot of issues going on, but the issue really is going to be whether or not the Kenosha Police Department told these white supremacist organizations that included organizations that Kyle was a part of, that they had the right to come out here and basically shoot and kill Black Lives Matter organizers who were responding to the police brutality and violence that was happening.
No, and one of the things that dispute right now is the video, and the video that we saw. You know, it's a couple videos. We saw the video of Kyle after he shot these people actually walking over to the police thinking he would be arrested, and he was not. He was allowed to leave and go home and then was arrested subsequently. But there was a video where like the police gave them water and was saying, we thank y'all for being here. Yep. And so like you said, if you know, this very same police that shot Jacob Blake that got people in this situation to begin with. So like you said, if the police are saying, yo, glad you're here, we appreciate y'all help, you know what I'm saying? And then you go shoot somebody, like you said, did he feel like the police gave him that leeway? Does that matter? And does that mean that he's not guilty? Trouble, you have a comment on this?
Yeah, I just think it's bullshit completely. So it's like on them saying that you can't call them victims, but you can call them writers and looters. Now, knowing what Miracle just said about the pre-trial conversation, it's like, so you can't call them one thing that might not be, correct based on the case that's being, decided on, but you can call them another possibly untrue thing just to defend, his stance of being whatever they want him to be in this case. Right. It's just bullshit,
The language insinuates guilt. The narrative, casts guilt upon these people, and really it's just victim blaming. Again, this is victim blaming. But what's interesting, we're going to talk about this soon in the next couple talking points. These law enforcement officers essentially deputize these white supremacists. They're, you know, the moment you say thank you for being here, you're really giving them like agency to operate. You know, you're really allowing them the abilities. It's deputization. You're saying, oh, okay, thank you for being here. Help us, you know, control these black people, or, you know, these people who are, you know, different than us. You know, these people are out killing citizens, killing innocent people, murdering them in cold blood in the streets, and with the okay from law enforcement. I don't even think, like, the fact that this shit even goes to trial anymore is wild to me.
Well, I think it kind of shows the you know, the privilege of it. You were going to say something, Miracle?
I mean, yes, but I think it's very. That's why I say you got to talk to your parents and your grandparents, because we keep talking about this silent coup that a lot of conservatives or far right extremists are constantly engaging. And this is going to be a case where we have to really pay attention, because if these conservative police departments are going to start saying that white supremacists can basically take up arms at any time that there is a speak or a conversation about black and brown people using their First Amendment rights, we're going back to days of race riots. We're going back to days of, you know, Black Wall Street. We're going back to days where black people were literally ran out of cities and towns and counties just for being black by these white militias with guns who had police protection and power. And so this is something that we really have to pay attention to. And the fact that this is even going to trial, I think with me again, was someone, because there's a black DA, there's someone who actually cares and understands what's going on, who's been pushing this. And the sad thing is, this has been a case for people have really galvanized and have been going and doing everything they can to make sure this kid doesn't get convicted. And it's why we have to really be involved in every step of these judicial processes, because these folks aren't playing that here. They're sending their worst to hurt and kill people, and then putting and appointing judges who are going to allow them to come home.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, that's what we're seeing, right? And you're basically giving like tacit support for them to do that, right? If Rittenhouse was found, and just like you said, here's Rittenhouse, who from the moment he was arrested was supported, you know, almost, you know, all of these right-wing conservative folks supported him. A bunch of Christians raised $500,000 for his defense. He's doing commercials. Like, he's already been super embraced by a lot of these white people. But now if he's found not guilty, you're basically giving license that a lot of these white people already feel that they have, you know what I'm saying, to go out, and if we're protesting, like, and that's the wild part, because you call us threatenings and we out there with signs. We out there with just regular signs, and we're seen as this a threat. You know, we found out, oh, somebody was shooting at the police station in Minnesota. It was a white guy. It was a conservative white guy. You know what I'm saying? It was a white dude that was breaking windows. And so, but like, we're not seeing them actually really serve any type of severe jail time. So but just like, I mean, I think you said it, Miracle. White violence has always been excused, explained away, and allowed to happen in this country, while just the mere question of possible black violence is treated like it's like the end of the world. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, even when we're not violent out there with signs, we're looked at and criminalized. The police are coming at us and attacking us, but the police give Kyle Rittenhouse water and say, we're thankful you to be here. And you brought it up, Farouk. We saw the same thing happening in regards to January 6th, right? And one of the things that broke this week was Rolling Stones did this, you know, broke this case or this story that said, like, protest organizers said that they participated in meetings with specific Congress people, they participated in meetings with the White House before January 6th happened, and that there was even a conversation about the people that participated in January 6th receiving blanket pardons, right? And if you don't believe me, you know, one of the most, you know, we can't, I know the word crazy is like seen as negative.
Dismissive.
Because, you know,
that's the legend Dave Chappelle said.
Yeah, so we don't want to use that word, but this is one of the most extreme, foolish members of Congress. I think it's majority. What is it? Marjorie Taylor Greene, like in 4K, here she is walking out of the White House basically talking about a meeting they just had in the White House. We can play that, John.
Just finished with our meetings here at the White House this afternoon. We had a great planning session for our January 6th objection. We aren't going to let this election be stolen by Joe Biden and the Democrats. President Trump won by a landslide. Call your House reps, call your senators from your states. We've got to make sure they're on board, and we already have a lot of people engaged. Okay, stay tuned.
Representatives Eric.
So basically, here was like, she's telling you, she's leaving the White House and saying, yo, what was we doing? We was meeting about January 6th. We was planning. We not gonna let this election stand. We saw what happened. How is this woman still a sitting congressperson after seeing this and seeing what happened? Is it just because she's white?
That's exactly
that is what Paul Mooney said. That is what he
That's
said.
exactly it.
Nothing else? Anything?
Any
other comments?
No, it's just the privilege, the white privilege, the audacity, the protection that where you literally can sit there and say, yes, I help plan. Yes, I help pay for these people to come. Yes, I help give people layouts to the building. Yes, I did all the
tours
stuff.
And shit. Right.
Open, and nothing's gonna happen. Like you at the
Miracle
that
call
moment,
all this shit. Miracle call all this shit.
The moment that the Capitol Police did not open fire on the January 6th protesters was the moment we all realized that nothing was going to happen to these folks. Outside being an inside job, like nothing's going to happen. We still have local Black people in the Allegheny County Jail from protesting last summer
100%.
who literally went outside their doors and were in their own neighborhood protesting police violence, and they're still in jail. Meanwhile, these people took planes, trains, and automobiles, crossed state lines down to the Capitol to commit acts of terror, and nothing is happening to them. Maybe unless they're Black, maybe 6 months sentence here or home confinement there, and here we go again. And this is treason. This is treason. Let's be very
punishable
clear.
by death.
This is treason. This is violence. This is a coup. And because we are more like, we're really a white supremacist nation who really wanted Donald Trump to win again because he really didn't want to care about these Black and brown people within our borders. That's why you see all this deference. That's why you see Congress and the Democrats not fighting for living wages and pay leave and all that stuff, because they didn't want to do it because they really don't care.
They don't care, right? And this was police officers being beaten with American flags. This police officers dying.
They beat one to death with the American flag.
Yeah, like
that's
no
wild.
one.
That sentence is just wild.
And it's interesting that you brung up and I'm gonna come to you, Trevor, that you brung up because something a story broke this week that actually said that a Black man claimed bias because he's received the longest sentence so far in connection with January 6th. So like the longest sentence given out so far has been to a when we say this show writes itself, come on, man. Like what can we say? Trouble? What's your take on this, man?
Yo, I like what Woogie just said. Buses from Pittsburgh to bus in the Capitol building. That's just funny. But I think it's very much expected. You know what I'm saying? To see like these white people. I kind of wonder like what would have been the result if Marjorie was a Black woman. You know what I'm saying? And she came out the White House like, yeah, we're shutting that shit down. You know what I'm saying? We just had a meeting saying this isn't happening. It's like, how would they have responded? Would they have responded the same way, just kind of swept it under the rug? Because it's like, why is this my first time seeing that video? You know what I'm saying?
That's a great question.
Real shit. That is my very first time seeing that video when it was clearly well before January 6th, because she said it as though it hadn't even happened yet.
It didn't happen yet. Right. She was they were planning it. And this is the thing, so she can't then go, one of the congresspersons, his name was Mo Brooks, basically said, oh, I wasn't involved in the planning. Maybe some of my staff were, but I wasn't. She can't even say that because she's literally in 4K coming out the White House saying, guess what we was in there doing? Oh, we was in there planning January 6th. We're not going to let this election stand. You know what I'm saying? The one woman from Colorado, I forget her name, Lauren something. Remember, she tweeted, the speaker has left the Capitol, like almost as if she was trying to give people breaking in like news of where the Speaker of the House is. You know what I'm saying? Like there were Congress people in fear of their lives. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's wild to see. And remember, this is a week after Condoleezza Rice was on TV saying, "Oh, we just got to get past it. We just got to get over this." I mean, come on, bro. We already know if this was black people, man, black people wouldn't be allowed in Washington, D.C., man. They make all of us leave. You have to go through 5-6 different things of security. I mean, we already know what it is. You know what I'm saying? This is white privilege at its highest point.
Think about 2 years ago when children organized a walkout to protest against the verdicts in the Michael Roswell trial and the murder of Antoine Rose. How many police came to that for children? Yeah. For children. All of Allegheny County sheriffs were out. Pittsburgh police was out. Deputies. Yeah. And then, clearly these private white supremacist militia members were out in attendance against children. The Capitol riots. You saw treason. You saw an attempted coup. You saw murder. You saw violence. Property damage at the very minimum, terrorism, nothing. And then the officer who defended himself against these attackers, who was black, is the one who's been vilified. Yeah. Shit is mad, man. That's why I say all the time, man, fuck these niggas. I'm going to space.
One day NASA will hear you.
One day.
You need to holler at me, bro.
Hey, one day Bezos might, you be up there with William Shatner.
Jeff Bezos give me the email, bro. I'm gone. I'm out.
Oh my God, my grandma was like, that man kept playing space so much he actually had to go up there and see what it was like.
Hilarious.
She was talking about William Shatner.
So Rolling Stone broke another article where they talked about how.
When did Rolling Stone become a news news?
They always did news.
Really? They own it. You know what I'm saying? But an article came out that said they joined anti-government militia with their government emails. So it said Rolling Stones identified nearly 40 Oath Keeper members that basically were dumb enough to sign up for the Oath Keepers with their own government emails, being government workers. And surprise, surprise, one of them happened to be a Pittsburgh police officer.
Are you serious?
No.
Really? Are you dead ass? Are you dead ass?
Like, cut the cameras.
Cut the cameras. Oh my God, we can't believe. But thoughts on government workers that overthrow the government.
Allegedly, there is a whole white supremacist faction within these police streets, with Oath Keepers, with the Punisher, with all of
you see the Punisher. The Punisher is for LGBTQIA rights now.
I don't get
Frank Castle is pro LGBTQIA,
as he should. However,
yes, my
issue is why did people get shocked? My thing is it's the stupidity. It's the stupidity for me because your work email. I personally don't use my work email for personal things. If stuff that's problematic, I don't use my personal email for this. Whether it's the NFL man from the other week or these police officers, why are y'all using y'all's work and business emails?
Because they know that nothing's going to happen.
Yeah, they
know nothing's going to happen. It's just they don't care.
Yeah, it's that white supremacist thing of I can do what I want to do. And I don't even care what's going to happen to me. I can do what I want to do. And I think that's the mentality of it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like you said, why would you? I mean, you don't got it's not like creating an email costs money. You know what I'm saying? Go create an email.
Free. They're literally free.
Get you a Yahoo, my homie, and just, you know what I'm saying? But like you said, it's just the audacity.
I still have
Hotmail even. Yeah. But it's just the audacity. Trouble?
No.
What do you think, brother?
Oh, okay.
I think, you know what I'm saying, it doesn't surprise me that there are so many white supremacists in politics because politics is how they can maintain the power they need to sustain the system that benefits them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're 100% right. We did so. I guess maybe we should just stay on white supremacists in politics, as you said. We have some late breaking white supremacy happen today. Where
from a countryman too. Damn.
Yeah, one of your Canadian countrymen. If you could get that video ready for us, John. And I guess it was a conversation with Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, and it's wild to see. I mean, it's theater. I know like politics has always been theater, but it's kind of getting crazy right now. But I wouldn't think that somebody who supposedly loved America and mind you, this is on the 3rd year anniversary of the Tree of Life, and you have Senator Ted Cruz basically defending parents at school board meetings using the Nazi salute. Yes, that's right. Ted Cruz, who, when it got too cold in Texas, he bounced.
That's not his name.
Yeah, it is.
No,
no, what's his real name? It's not Ted Cruz. It's something. What is it? It's like oh man, what's his real name?
I didn't know.
It's not Ted. It's not
Raphael
Ted.
Edward.
Raphael, that's it. So I mean, so you already know, like, he probably hates Cruz. The fact that he even has a last name Cruz. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so let's play the video of Ted Cruz defending using the Nazi salute.
A quick count just sitting here. During this hearing, I counted 20 incidents cited. Of the 20, 15 on their face are nonviolent. They involve things like insults. They involve a Nazi salute. One of the examples. My God, a parent did a Nazi salute at a school board because he thought the policies were oppressive. General Garland is doing a Nazi salute at an elected official. Is that protected by the First Amendment?
Yes, it is.
Okay. 15 of the 20 on the face of it are not violent. They're not threats of violence. They're parents who are unhappy. Yeah.
Well, so how do we get,
when you write a memo, the opening line of your memo,
I think you can kill that
in recent months.
I mean,
white people will always go to bat for other white people, and no matter how violent, no matter how problematic, no matter how just like unhinged it is, publicly white people will always back white people, even if they don't even know each other. They're like, if you look at all of these people, they just know they're going to have support. They really don't have to make a phone call. No one told that man, if he went and made a Nazi salute, that a sitting senator was going to defend him. Say, oh, it's just because he's unhappy. It's just because he's unhappy.
Yeah, and I mean, I
think he has that protection.
But also, I think like what Farouk was saying, like, I mean, I think to a certain group of people, if you see somebody doing a Nazi salute, that does mean violence. You know what I'm saying?
There are literally, this isn't hyperbole that I'm going to say, there are literally mobs of people who use their freedom to assemble to walk down streets in the United States of America hailing the Nazi salute, sporting regalia from the Third Reich.
Right.
If it was that innocuous, the German government, where Nazi Germany was, in case anybody is not familiar with geography or history, outlawed all of that.
Right.
Producing any type, replicating any of that is an automatic jail sentence because they know what it incites.
Right. Right.
So the fact that you could defend it,
right, and like I said,
defend it.
Not only on the 30th anniversary of Tree of Life, but at a time where violence and incidents against Jewish people and anti-Semitism has been on the rise because of a lot of this rhetoric. And so, like you said, like the idea that like you might not think of that as violence, but I'm sure somebody that's from the Jewish community would see that somebody doing that salute as somebody maybe then capable of anti-Semitic violence against them and their community.
Not only that, the fact that the fact that that you can associate the Nazi salute with oppression should let you know that it's not innocuous.
Right, with the Holocaust. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We were talking about this last week when the same people, remember these same people are the ones that are saying, oh, well, if you talk about the Holocaust, you can't say it's bad or the Holocaust is wrong. You have to then say some alternative view. You have to give an opposing view of the Holocaust. So I think it's wild that we're here now, but this is where we are. Trouble?
No, it's not.
Oh, you're not surprised we're here now? We've always been here?
We've always been here, but the minute the minute people had to go and tell their kids to call a black man sir, president, principal, leader, we knew this white lash was going to happen. We knew people were going to be upset. The thing is, we talk about the elasticity of white supremacy. A lot of these folks didn't think it was going to bounce back and bite them in the ass. And now it's like your trauma, what happened to in your community, let's both sides that. Women's rights, let's both sides that. Gay marriage, now we're back to both siding that. And all these folks who were really just for the past decade telling Black people to grin and bear it are now looking down at white supremacy, looking at them, talking about, we don't know you. And now they're upset. When in reality, had they been the allies they had claimed to be, we wouldn't be here.
1,000% right. Treble, you have any further comments on this?
Yeah, I'm growing super tired of seeing our non-violent unhappiness with how we're treated in the system being treated as though we're deserving of violence, but their violence, as in white supremacist violence, is being seen from this lens of humanity. Oh, they're just upset parents. You can't refer to these rioters as victims. Yep. But when we say that we're unhappy with this entire system and how there's obviously a divide in how we're treated as people, right? Then we're deserving of violence all of a sudden. I'm tired of it, man.
Or we're told like love it or leave it. We're told like, well, this is how it is. If you don't like it, just leave. You know what I'm saying? But these white folks don't get that same treatment.
I hate to do this because it's kind of passe, but it's worth mentioning. Martin Luther King was nonviolent. His passive was met with termination, right? Yeah. So the fact that, again, this is just wild to me, right? This is just wild to me that you can have Herschel Walker defending a swastika, right? You can have, a Black person, whether he wants to admit it or not, defending a swastika.
On the surface, definitely Black on the surface.
Right, definitely Black, surface level only. Condoleezza Rice saying that we have to get past this race thing and not shaming white children.
We don't want to hurt white kids' feelings, so don't hurt their feelings. But yet, a Native American kid has to watch some white woman dance around and mock his whole culture for 5 fucking minutes.
And then just to have those same white children's parents come to a PTA meeting to show how displeased they are with it, in solidarity, throw up a Nazi salute, a heinous gesture that was responsible for the massacre of millions of people. Yeah. That's America. There's nothing more American than that.
100%. No, that's real. So I know we're close to the end, but there is one topic. We kind of went into some entertainment last week with I forget the one. What was her name? Jess Nelson, who was blackfishing. We kind of went into the blackfishing conversation last week. This week, yeah. Because we wanted Miracle in that conversation, but she was doing her thing.
My internet was not working in Belize. Yes. I apologize.
Oh, look, who she stunned on us. My internet wasn't working in Belize. As I was on the beach.
Because I did a working vacation. I sent emails. I was on meetings. I worked through my vacation because I love y'all and I care about my people. I was trying. I tried to call Farouk to get on, and we were like, we just can't do a show with me on the cell phone.
We tried. But however, so there is a piece of entertainment news again, right? There is and what would you just call him, like a white Latino artist? Was that how we're going to call him? But there's
he's a Spanish speaking person. How about that?
Is this reggaeton? Is this reggae? Is that what the field of genre is?
J Balvin is pop. He just Spanish pop.
So J Balvin did a song called Para. Does that mean dog?
Dog, yeah.
Yeah. And basically in this video, he had Black women in dog makeup and dog regalia, but he had them on leashes. He had collars around their neck on leashes. Black. John's gonna pull up the picture. This was a scene from the video. Here's J Balvin with his, I guess trying to do his hip hop impersonation with these Black women on leashes in collars with dog makeup on. And in the video, there's a scene of a woman in the doghouse eating from a dog bowl. Black women obviously, led the charge to say what in the hell is going on, J Balvin. So J Balvin apologized this week. He pulled the video. Does that mean anything to y'all? Like, Is he forgiven? Because people had brought, these women came with receipts, and there was a history of a lot of anti-Black statements that J Balvin had made in the past. But like you said, this kind of hip hop type stylish music. What do y'all think about J Balvin?
We just gonna blame rap for this?
It's like Snoop Dogg showed up.
Too Short did it. We blaming Snoop and Too Short for this? Damn.
Who do we blame? And do you forgive? Like, is just J Balvin taking this video down? Is that enough of a, okay, you did something and he apologized for it? Apparently, is that enough?
Nah, he has to confront those frameworks in his mind that let him see the treatment of the video, hear the directors explain it to him, and then still carry on with the video, shoot the video, release the video, and then also promote the video. It's like nowhere along this entire journey did he think, wait, there's something wrong with the imagery and the rhetoric behind this music video. He was just like, it's perfectly fine. And I feel like it's more than just anti-Black. There's like an intersectionality. It's like anti-Black and a bit misogynistic, because in a sense, it's like completely hypersexualizing Black women, as the media so often does. You know what I'm saying? And nowhere did he think, oh, this might be wrong. But now, because there's outcry, he's sorry and taking it down. It's like, we don't need sorry, bro. We need a change in the way you look at Black and brown people, and a change in the way you look and treat women. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Facts. Those are the facts. And
That was it. Yeah. Go
At
ahead,
the end of
bro.
the day, white passing men cannot be the ones who are reclaiming Black women's sexuality and identity for them. I'm sick and tired of people putting out content that's made to be controversial and saying, "Oh, we're just reclaiming something." You can't reclaim and celebrate something that's not yours and doesn't impact you, right? And at the end of the day, it would have been great to say, you know what? Can we analyze what makes us call Black women, para? What does it look like to downgrade or disagree with these men who are doing that? Let's make that type of video, that type of content. Don't let's have like Black women crawling. And think about these artists, these Black women who are trying to get into modeling or agencies and casting and may not be able to say, no, I feel uncomfortable with it.
Yeah. And that was the discussion. That was the kind of the take I was going to take about it is, I know there was going to be some people, they agreed to do it in the video, but sometimes, when you're trying to get that in, you take the most demeaning roles because that's going to give you some type of, agency or like proximity success. So you take those small roles at the beginning, and more time they don't get paid anything, you know what I mean? So that's even further subjugation and demeaning themselves. But Treble said it all, man. But if you ask me, nah, man, lo siento, that's not good enough, bro. Like that is not. That's not what we're going to accept in the community. And I think that what J Balvin has today, Jay-Z even apologized for Big Pimpin'. Right? Jay-Z came back 20 years later and was like, hey, listen, I was bugging for that. I'm sorry. Like, you know what I mean? I know that he's like, I got Black daughters, I got a wife. I came from a Black woman. I was bugging for this, right? And I don't think people came down too hard on Hove. I think people kind of took it for what it was, but like, you had a blueprint of what to avoid, J Balvin. You had, 40 years in hip hop and for us to get to this awakening right now to see what's really acceptable and what's not, yet you still chose violence. You know what I mean?
And then it's like, even his apology, he says, I want to say sorry to whomever felt offended. Like, I hate when people say that, especially, but he says, I want to say sorry to whoever felt offended, especially to the Black community. That's not who I am. He added his work has always been about tolerance, love, and inclusivity. And it goes right back to Treble's point. Like, that is,
bro. That's not an apology.
That is who you are. Like that's who you are, because you got in the studio and did the song, performed the lyrics. You looked at the treatment. You showed up at the video. You had these Black women on leashes. You put the video out. You promoted it. That's who you are, bro. Like, to say that's not who I am. No, that's exactly who you are. And that's not a strong enough apology. Whoever felt offended, like, nah, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, but until we start start ostracizing these people, and still because and I know we're like at 7:00, we can get into the whole until we start to say like, nah, man, and that goes back to that there isn't, cancel culture don't really exist, man. People,
It
what I'm
does
saying?
not exist.
People get mad for a couple of days, and then people go right back out and purchase these people, stream these people, support these people, buy tickets to their shows. It don't really exist. You know what I'm saying?
What? I ain't cancel nobody.
I know.
Yeah.
Not even in solidarity.
No. I don't
like,
believe in it.
I was like, don't listen to the album for 24 hours. Don't even watch the special for 2 days. Couldn't even do it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're 100%.
I love Kanye West. Man.
So let's get to our white pages. Do we have any white pages?
We
Miracle
do.
and Farouk that can break down some of this stuff.
Yeah, we got to listen. Miracle, in her absence, left me some amazing tapes to teach me how to read, and I would love to. May I?
Speaking of Black women and Blackness, the
There's a lot of that right
amazing
here.
Ariel Marie, who is an organizer extraordinaire, poet, has this book called Gumbo Yaya, and is a series of a series of poems that's talking about the relationship of Blackness internally and externally. They did win the Cave Canon Poetry Prize. This is an amazing book. You're gonna read it again, and I like it because it's poems and it's art and it's storytelling and it's very beautiful.
Does that have pictures?
It does have a couple of pictures.
Pictures.
It does have a couple of pictures in here. It's more of sketches and stuff, and it's pretty cool. So you can read it.
Gumbo Yaya, the poetry series.
University of Pittsburgh Press.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right, Gumbo Yaya. And then our call to action this week, we have 2 calls to action. Our first would be
don't get fucked up for dressing up as racist shit on Halloween.
Yes, Halloween is coming. Don't culturally appropriate no one's, ethnicity.
You want to be over-sexualized versions of something that's cool, but don't that cultural appropriation.
Well, and don't even if you Black, don't dress as Harriet Tubman. That's not. Come on, man. Come on, like this Halloween, yo. Come on, bro. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, keep it fun. If you got to darken your skin, that ain't the person you should be dressing as. Like, if you feel like, yes.
Did you ever go trick or treating?
100%, yes.
Did you? I went twice. My parents weren't really with it.
Oh man,
but I did twice.
I went to a Catholic school.
I knew you wouldn't be allowed to.
I went to a Catholic school.
No. Oh no! Now on the devil's birthday.
In this Catholic school, we used to have Halloween parties in the basement of a Catholic school.
Oh,
full
shit.
out, blood and spiders and webs and all of that.
Damn.
So yeah.
They sent all you niggas to hell.
Yeah, exactly.
Our church had a fall festival.
Shout out to St. Dorothy's.
My dad was so religious; he would come and pick us up like at 5:00, so we could not even have the illusion of trick or treating.
Wow, not even a pumpkin.
Not the devil's playground. Not William Jones's children. No, so I've never been trick or treating. I've only recently, in the past couple of years, dressed up for Halloween.
Have you done that, Trouble? You been trick or treating and all that?
For sure. I used to get like pillowcases full. You know what I'm saying?
You look like you were somebody that would take.
I was
kids' candy.
Would you do that for their candy?
Listen, bro.
Would you snatch your bag,
I'm a changed man.
Trouble was
you gotta do what you gotta do out here.
I want Butterfingers.
Give me that. No, when you got the full candy bar though, that was the shit. That's when you had to double back to that same house. Like, no,
yeah, you gotta go to the white neighborhoods for that. Like, that was the one thing in white neighborhood, because everybody looked the same in costumes. So it's like, fuck it, go to the white neighborhoods, go to the suburbs and clean up, man.
Yes, and then the last call to action is November 2nd. Make sure you vote. Pittsburgh, we have an opportunity to make history. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have opportunity to see our first Black mayor. Please vote November 2nd, but not just for mayor. School board is on the ballot. The judges' races are on the ballot. Magistrates is on the ballot. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Yes. Please do all of that. Get your vote on. And then look, if you still maybe have some questions, go to One Hood Power, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. One Hood Power is releasing scorecards that are covering a lot of the races to let you know, like we asked people a series of questions.
The races.
RACES.
I would say we're scoring races. That's great.
No, but it allows you, like we asked a series of questions relevant to Black people. And so, you know, if you have a question about a candidate, a good place to start would be One Hood Power, Instagram, Facebook, you know, Twitter, holla at One Hood Power. And then there is a Power Hour on Monday that will be like a statewide conversation because there are also some state races that we want to vote in, particularly the judicial ones. We have the opportunity to get some Black folks on there. So definitely vote, but educate yourself. And that's one of the things that One Hood Power has been doing very well in the space, particularly digitally. Shout out to Kahari and Miracle who have been holding it down. Definitely.
And I will say it's only expected that there's going to be 20% voter turnout on Monday.
Really?
And coming up, we have eviction moratoriums. We have what's the money going from COVID. We have housing funding. We have, you know, paid leave, all type of stuff. It's imperative that people get out to vote. These laws are coming down. Things are going to be changing. And if they're not changing for the better, they're going to be changing for the worse. And it's going to impact a lot of people. So please make sure you're out there getting registered. It's too late to get registered, but if you're registered, please make sure you're taking people to vote. If you can't vote, if you're someone who's on paper, someone, you know, who's, a lot of people are at home serving time. Get your mother, your family, your members, tell them to go out and vote and make sure they are staying informed and engaged. These next 2 years are going to be super, super rough. And the more people we have in power who are on our side, the easier it is going to be for us to fight and to engage and protect each other.
I'm in power and I'm on your side.
Oh, thank you. You're literally on my side.
I am.
Yes, literally. So,
I'm very
that being said, any closing comments, anything y'all want to say?
Never lose sight.
Never lose sight. I mean, that's good enough for me. So with that being said, we will see y'all next week. This week in White Supremacy. Thank you, Celeste. You know, we appreciate it. Celeste Taylor, longtime activist and very good person. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate all the great work that you do in our community. So we'll see y'all next week. This week in White Supremacy.
OJ was not guilty. And
Miracle, go ahead.
And isn't BPEP's thing tomorrow as well?
I think there's BPEP is doing a mayoral thing. I think it's tomorrow or the 30th or on Halloween.
I know OJ.
They're doing a debate. You know what I'm saying? All of that. So we're not gonna get into OJ right now, bro. OJ.
Why would you disrespect me like that in public?
Hey, ESPN's 10-part docuseries on OJ is one of the best documentaries I've ever seen. Yes, that's how we're gonna end it. Kyle is guilty. That's a great way to end it. Yes. Shout out to Woogie. Kyle is guilty.
Free Kyrie.
Free Kyrie.
Stop that. All right, thank you all. May God bless you. This is White Supremacy signing off. Woo!
Slave souls haunt the halls when the light is out. They suck the blood of the poor and to wipe their mouth. The last gas of a world that is dying out. Welcome to the Whitest House.